Welcome, welcome, welcome. I got my first guest of the weekend. Well, it's not the weekend, but it feels like the weekend. I treated last night like the weekend. But this guy's a highly trained athlete, so he's getting 8 hours sleep. Trey McBride, one of my favorite young players in the NFL. I mean that, man. I watch you play. I'm defensive end, but I appreciate some good tight end play, man. And although you guys torch my birds, I enjoyed watching you play, dude. Welcome to the set, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This is really cool, and I'm honored to be here.
Dude, it's honors all ours, and really, really cool. You're here with Wounded Warrior Project. We were talking, off microphone a minute or two ago about the importance of working with vets and, like, not only the importance of helping vets, but what we get out of networking with veterans and the power of working with that population. So what's Wounded Warrior Project all about to you, and how'd you get
to me, it means a lot to me. I have a lot of family members. My grandfather, my brother as well are in the military, and this is just important and near and dear to my heart. I've had family members and friends that have struggled with mental illness and things like that. So to be an advocate, to give back, and to be partner with the Wounded Warrior, this is something very special to me and something I'm a huge advocate for.
The producers know this. When we climb Kilimanjaro every couple years with vets, I said, we need to get his big ass up the mountain, dude. He's from Colorado. He can handle altitude.
Here we go.
And he likes working with vets, man. But I think what's really cool about it is, what I was touching on earlier, a lot of the time you go in and you're like, how can we help veterans? But veterans can be a great help to us, man, in this country. And I think the mental makeup of those guys and gals when they get out, coming home, they can be leaders, but they need a little help from us and support. And, those people that climb Kili with us, they're like our biggest fundraisers when you get down. And so I just think it's so amazing what you're doing. And hey, learn more about Wounded Warrior Project. What's the website, by the way? Is it .org? Or, .org. WoundedWarrior.org. So let's talk about the game, man. And the way I want to talk about the game with you is, you torched the 49ers. I know you're going to be humble about it, but you absolutely torched them week 15. That's a really good defense. They run a lot of cover 3.
Yeah.
So when you got a good tight end, that helps. Talk to me about how you attacked that defense and why you were able to have so much success.
Yeah, they're a very, very physical team, a defense that does so many things well and have talent all around the board. So they're a team that you can't run the ball every play. They have run-stopping guys. They have a huge, great defensive front, and a team that you're not going to be running the ball all day on. So we knew we had to attack zones, and we knew what we were going up against in cover 3, and the game plan was to get open against cover 3, and that's what they did, and that's what we did. So it was a lot of fun. Kyler gave me a lot of opportunity, and I caught a lot of balls for him, and he kept coming back to me. So very special game, but that's a very tough and physical defense.
What's it like seeing Fred Warner run around full speed, dude? Is he like your size or bigger?
Fred is a tremendous player, a guy whose motor goes and goes and goes and is all around the ball. Him and Greenlaw are some of the best linebackers in the game, and I love going against them twice a year.
Did you get to base block Nick Bosa?
Yeah, I've got both of those guys, and then if Nick Bosa's not on one side, you got Chase Young on the other side. So either way, you're going to be tough. You got a tough physical matchup, and those guys are hard to block.
So let me ask you this: with the it feels like people my age and just fans in general, there's a point with every team when they get too good, and people are tired of them winning, and that's kind of where people are with the Chiefs. Now, I'm going to lay my cards on the table. I'm pulling for the Chiefs this week. I don't know if there's a bunch of Chiefs fans out here. I like seeing greatness. I love Patrick Mahomes. I get caught up in that thing. So I wonder, you growing up watching the Chiefs, being in high school, seeing the Chiefs, did it feel like probably how it felt for me watching the Patriots?
Yeah, I feel like, the Chiefs are superior. They're a team that, with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes at the helm, they've been winning and consistently winning every single year. I love watching them. They're constantly in the big game, and this is a lot of fun. So I'm super excited to see how they go against a really good 49ers defense. And the thing I'm most excited about is the two tight ends that are matched up. These are two of the best tight ends in the league, and I'm really excited to see these two go head-to-head.
What do you think, besides blocking like an offensive tackle, Kittle brings to the table in the pass game? What makes him so good?
I think just he's unselfish, and that offense is full of so many playmakers, and he's a guy who's explosive and waits for his opportunity. He's not going to do too much when it comes, but when his opportunity comes, he always seems to make a big play and do what's right for the team.
And I see a little Kelsey in you, man. I really do. I mean that obviously as a compliment. when I talked to Ertz and I was like, tell me about this Trey kid, and he was like, he's so good with the ball in his hands. You know, it's when you get the ball in your hands, it's not just, you know, getting open, but it's the yak, it's all that stuff. But in zone, you talked about it versus the Niners, finding those soft spots in zone. And I think, especially with you having a quarterback like Kyler and Travis having a quarterback like Mahomes, where these guys buy time. Scramble drill is almost a sure thing. At some point in a possession, you're going to be working the scramble drill. How does that relationship with you and Kyler develop, and how fun has it been to do the nonverbal stuff?
Yeah, it's Kyler's a tremendous athlete, a guy who's always going to make plays, a guy who's extending plays, and that's something we work on all the time. We're always trying to extend plays. We know with Kyler back there, he's going to be running around, he's going to make things happen, and we got to be able to get open for him. So we work that all the time, and most of it's just having that chemistry, having that trust with him, and having him believe that I'm going to be open, and when he throws me the ball, I'm going to come down with it. And the more I did that for him, the more he kept coming to me, and my opportunities just kept coming.
So this year's the first year, obviously, you got a lot of time with him,
yeah,
because of the injury last year and the whole thing.
Yeah.
Narratives get out, and, you know, like, we think certain things about players. We hear, hey, Kyler, work ethic, that sort of thing. But when I saw him come back this year,
yeah,
I felt like he was on a mission, man. Talking to people in the building, getting a feel for where he was and where he is now. What have you seen from him this year that makes you think, hey, like, he's going to be one of those premier guys, and me and him are going to play together for 5-7 years, hopefully?
Yeah, I think it's just the work ethic. You see him in there every day. You see him putting the work in. You see him grinding. And I think it's just him being there, showing up, being a leader, and what he does off the field, what he does in the building. He's just a tremendous person. And the rap that he gets from the media isn't always the best. But, you know, I know the real Kyler. I know the guy that I'm with every day, and he's a tremendous person, a tremendous player, and I love spending time with him, and I hope that we can grow our career and play a long time together.
Yeah, I think it'd be a fun connection to watch for a long time. Not a lot of defensive coaches in the NFL, right? Like, I think McDonald just got hired in Seattle, Dan Quinn in Washington, and obviously last year you guys went with John Gannon, somebody who was in Philly, and I got to know a little bit. Great guy, right?
Yeah, phenomenal.
But also, I think he surprised people this year. Like, he was ready to coach at a high level. And I thought you guys took a lot of teams to the wire. Obviously, it's a rebuilding year, but what did you see from him, and what makes him the guy for the job?
I think just the leadership skills that he brought, what he came to do, and what he's done for us. You know, he set the culture, he's building the culture, he set the standard, and he hasn't, you know, gone away from that. He's been tremendous. He's a great leader and a guy that everyone wants to play for. He brings guys with him and gives us the plan and you know, gives us the blueprint to go be successful, and then we just got to go do it. He's been phenomenal as a head coach, and I think he's the right guy for the job.
Is it nice to have a guy that you can be like, hey, you know, you talk to an offensive head coach, he's talking to you from one vantage point, but having that guy that can explain how to exploit a coverage a little bit differently, or, you know, what you might expect to see from a defense, like he's the one calling defenses, does that help to have that guy?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, to ask him questions, to figure out what he's doing, what this guy's job responsibility is, and how I can beat that guy. He's a guy that I would go to every week and ask him questions. You know, we're trying to attack this coverage. Where do I need to be to get open on this route? Things like that. And he's a huge advocate and someone who's always wanting to help.
Let's talk about blocking, man, because it's something that I don't know if people realize is tight ends still do it. You know, is Bosa and Chase Young the toughest blocks that you've had to make on the edge this year, because you see him twice a year, or is there somebody else that you were like, damn, that guy is a player?
So many good guys. I mean, every week you're going against an elite pass rusher, but I think those are two of the best in the league, and I see them twice a year with Bosa and Chase Young. Those are phenomenal players and one of the hardest guys that you block. So I love the matchup every single year, and to see those guys twice a year, it's so much fun.
How about, what's the toughest block for you? Because I played in a 4-eye. You know, you're not going to block a 4-eye. I played in a 6. Okay, like, I know that's tough for me because you guys are head up and the whole thing. And then I played in a 9 and the whole thing. what is the toughest block for you to make in the run game?
I think it's just that backside cutoff. You know, when you're you got a 6 technique and they have a two-way go, you have a two-way go, and you just got to get the inside leverage, and you got to rip and run that and take them down
It's
the line.
rip and run, yeah.
That's a tough block, but you know, it's something that as a tight end you got to execute every once in a while.
Because you don't want to be too out in front because you get backdoored,
and then you don't want to be too far behind because then they're gonna. It's that perfect. You know, where do you got to be? How do you got to get the block? And it's a tough block.
And the whole thing is just like you're running full speed, but he's trying to open that shoulder.
No doubt, yeah.
And you're trying to keep that shoulder closed.
No doubt.
Have you had like a welcome to the NFL moment, like a big hit or something, or a drop or something where you were like, damn, this is.
Yeah, I think, you know, like you said, playing against the 49ers, my rookie year, I caught a little crossing route over the middle, and Fred Warner had lit me up, and I just remember getting up, and I was like, oh, man, this is how these guys hit in this league, and I got to, you know, bring it every time. So it was a great moment for me and something I'll remember.
How about crowds? Because you're still young. You probably haven't played in every city, but there were a lot of away stadiums that I loved playing in.
Yeah.
Back when I was in the NFC West, Candlestick Park was still there.
Yeah.
I love playing in Seattle. I think playing in Phoenix is awesome. That grass is great.
Right.
The setup's awesome. But have you had a favorite stadium or city that you've played in so far?
I think what comes to mind right now is when we went up to Philly. That was such a cool, hostile environment,
Isn't it cool?
and to have that win, you know, with Jonathan Gannon, you know, everyone, you know, wasn't too happy he left, you know, Philly, and we have a bunch of Philly guys to go to Philly and to win that game. New Year's, that was a huge and hostile environment for sure.
All right, so let's talk about something you and I were talking about off mic a little bit. Like, I think you have a very unique story. I think it's pretty cool. You got 2 moms, right? I think you're maybe the first NFL player with that setup, and I just wonder, you've spoken about it before, like how have your teammates kind of, you know, had conversations with you and gotten comfortable with that if they you know hadn't heard anything like that before? Like, has it been a challenge at any point, like with the way people perceive that? And then also, like, what are the perks? Because I love my mom. If I had 2 moms, I think it'd be the best thing in the world.
I think the team's opened me with welcome arms. They've been great. Everyone in this league's been awesome, and I think it's just something that needs to be normalized. It's something that isn't, you know, different. It's something that nowadays is becoming a lot more normal. So something I think is very special, something that I'm very proud of. But for me, it's very cool. You know, my parents are great. They've been huge advocates for me. They've been huge supporters, and I know no different. This is all I've known my whole life, and this is very special to me.
That's so cool, man. I mean, it's just cool. NFL locker room, I always say it's one of the coolest workplaces in America because everybody comes from different, places and neighborhoods and backgrounds.
Yeah.
But we talk to each other.
Yeah.
You know, we sit at the lunch table, we have tough conversations, we explain things to each other, where we come from.
Yeah.
I just think it's very cool, man.
Yeah, no doubt. And you spend all day with those guys, so you get to know them very well, and those guys are very welcoming and things like that, so it's very special to me.
Who's somebody, this is the last question for you, Trey. Who's somebody or a couple of people that you'd be really fanboying to meet this week?
Oh man, there's a you know, I've met a lot of these guys, but I saw Shannon Sharp walking around, and you know, being a tight end, and then being from Colorado, you know, he's been awesome. So I think meeting him would be pretty cool.
That'd be awesome. And hopefully joining the ranks of great tight ends in our game, Trey McBride. I think you're a great player, man. It's gonna be fun to watch you. And
thank you.
Thanks for coming by, and great work with the Wounded Warrior Project. WoundedWarriorProject.org.
That's right, baby.
Okay, check it out and check out the work Trey's doing.
Yeah, thank you very much, man. This is great.
Thank you, brother.